welcome to my kitchen. My name is Richardson and I just published a cookbook called Awesome Flavors. It has a combination of foods that come from Puerto Rico and other islands combined with some other recipes that I have accumulated during the years and that I always prepare for my friends and family. Today I wanted to talk to you about sofrito. Sofrito is the basis of our Puerto Rican cuisine. It is a combination of veggies that you either process or leave in little chunks and you have it a chunky sauce, and it serves for the stews, the soups, the beans, any type of rice that you want to combine with vegetables, and it also is the basis for other things like salsa, the regular tomato salsa, the fruit salsa if you want to do it with peach. It also is a good combination if you pour it over cheese and you make some other recipes like canapés or hors d'oeuvres that you serve with crackers. If you dress it up, you can also use as a sauce to put on top of your chicken or especially fish. Fish is really good with a salsa. We can do it two ways. The first thing is that we take all the vegetables that are cut off and we're going to process them. To do the basic sofrito, we take the veggies, like we can do red peppers, some green peppers, and yellow peppers. Any peppers that you like are good. Then we can also add some onions. Onions are important. Garlic. This is what we call culantro in Spanish. It's not very easy to find here locally, but I have a little plant in my backyard and this gives an incredible flavor, and it also releases a great aroma when you are cooking it, so it's important. This is my little plant. I call it recao in Spanish. I just found out the name is Eryngium. Also they call it the wide leaf cilantro. It is a wild plant back home, so you see it in every single garden. These would be the seeds eventually, and if you let them dry when they fall off, they are ready to be planted, and it gives you a really healthy food. And that way you always have a good supply of your herb in your own garden. We also use cilantro. A big bunch of cilantro will season any type of sofrito. See, once we process it, it comes like a thick paste. To that paste, you can also add some cooking ham, depending on what you're doing. Cooking ham, it already comes cut in little squares, so there is no work involved, just opening a package. I like to leave it chunky, but you can also process it if you want to. Once you have this, it is very easy to use the portion that you need for today's recipe, and when you want to save the extra, you can either put it in containers like this and freeze it individually, and you can also use the ice cube trays to be able to freeze it, then pop it inside a Sila bag and you can keep it. This is what takes you the most time to prepare. So if you have this done ahead of time, the rest of the recipe is actually a breeze. At this point, you can either put it in the little containers so that you can save it in your freezer. You can keep it there, or you can pop it out into a bag once it's frozen and you reuse your little containers. I did some research before I actually decided to do the sofrito for you, and I found out that different people have different recipes for it. Some people add capers. You could do that. Some people also add olives with the roasted peppers. That is fantastic too. So this recipe of sofrito becomes part of your personality. You add it to your stews, to your beans, to your rice, and it enhances the flavor of whatever food you're trying to prepare. If you don't want to use the salt and pepper, you can always add the achiote. This will give a red coloring. Achiote is a little condiment that you fry it or you saute it on oil, and it releases a red coloring that enhances the food that you're making. I like the chunky sofrito. So to do that, first you pour like 2 tablespoons of olive oil on your pan, and over medium heat, you're going to wait until it sizzles a little bit. Then you think about the condiments that you want to use and the veggies. I usually do my ham first. With my ham, you let it toast a little bit so that the flavors are released. Since the ham is a little bit salty, you might want to think about adding salt and pepper because this is enough salt. Also, if you're going to use the ananato envelope, the seasoning envelope, that already contains salt, so you might not want to use salt and pepper if you use the ham and the little seasoning envelope. Once the oil is going, that you see that it's starting to cook, the ham, you're going to add the garlic. Garlic, you want to make sure it is moved so that it doesn't burn. Otherwise, the flavor would be a little bit bitter. You don't want to burn the garlic. Once you have that going, you can add the other veggies. You can also do what I do. Sometimes I process my sofrito, and when I am going to actually do my recipe, I cut a little bit of onions and peppers to make it chunky, and I add the ham. That way, even though you have all the flavoring on your processed one, you still feel the chunky of the vegetables because you added it when you diced them. So that would make a good addition. Then you want to add your herbs. This would be cilantro, and this is ricao, which is the other leaf that I grow in my backyard because it's not very easy to find. When you have that going, you mix it really well, and at this point you add the seasoning packet. You see, this will make it look red. It gives a nice coloring because of the ananato, and you find them in the ethnic aisle of the supermarket. Once you have it going like this, that all the flavors are mixing and everything looks red and pretty and sizzling, you are ready to add either the meat or the chicken or the beans, the rice, whatever is your main dish. So this is the basis of your cooking. This is what's going to flavor your meat and your dish. So it doesn't look